So the Center for Science in the Public Interest, a group full of fusspots and nanny pants, love those words, has asked the government to ban artificial coloring. According to the New York Times, the group claims the dyes might worsen hyperactivity in some children. Now, the keys to that sentence are might and some, meaning you'd find more real science in an episode of Blossom than in a CSPI press release. A government advisory panel has stated that there's no proof dyes cause these issues, and even if there was a slight connection, it would be inconsequential. Most of this is anecdotal stories, the medical equivalent of urban legends. But that doesn't matter to health crusaders, for they do not care if they're on the wrong side of statistics. All they need to do is shout, "What about the children?" and assume we'll fall in line. It's a ruse not born from concern, but envious disdain for industry or for success. Health fascists like CSPI hate human creativity, productivity, consumption, and exploitation of resources for the betterment of man, because that stuff works. And success is the polar opposite of a watchdog group where a scold's only job is to undermine the jobs of others. In contrast, today's McDonald's just announced the hiring of 50,000 new workers. By offering economic opportunities to so many people, that corporation saves more lives than CSPI could ever dream of with their shrill pronouncements. And while some blogs scoff at these McJobs, that says more about the smugness of those who blog than those who work. Bottom line, CSPI wants to ban pleasure because they seem incapable of experiencing it. They want food to be as colorless and bland as the lives they lead. If they were a cereal, they would be Fiber One. And if you disagree with me, you are a racist homophobe. Jill, does color inform your food choices?
I suppose it does. I never have gone into a restaurant and asked for a slice of beige velvet cake. So I guess it does. And I think, why? Why does the government or these groups always want to make these decisions for us? Parents should stop asking, like, every day is Easter and just give the kids the M&Ms with the red number 40 and the Mountain Dew with the yellow number 5. Every now and then. It's easy. It's simple. It's not hard. And
if they want kids not to like them, why give them such cool names like Red Number 5 and Yellow Number? Those are great names.
Like so extras in Star Wars.
I know, exactly. Yeah. Hey, Dan, would you enjoy your Fruit Loops as much if they were not fruity in color?
No, I'd feel like I was trying out for NASA, like I was trying to be a spaceman. Like, I don't want to eat just some bland. And like, they're taking color out of Kool-Aid now for these kids. How lame are their birthday parties going to be? It's going to be the worst thing ever. Like, don't worry, no frosting on the cake, kids.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's awful. It is. It's awful. Don't additives get a bad rap?
They absolutely get a bad rap. You know what? Government, stay out of my blueberry cereal. Yeah. And you know what? Why don't they just ban asparagus? Because that makes my pee smell weird.
Yeah, it does. I've noticed that.
Is it too soon? Is it too soon?
You know, I've told you this before. In fact, this morning.
Those are natural. They come out of the ground. So you know what? Leave the FD and C number 3 alone, please.
There you go. Sorry. Bill, you eat nothing but food additives.
Yes.
Food coloring.
Yes.
So if we took that away, there'd be nothing.
Right. Well, there's a couple reasons why this isn't going to work. Kids love Technicolor tons. They love showing them off in class. It's just a conversation starter.
Yeah.
And the other reason is 2 words. Pepsi Clear. Remember how well that did?
Nice. Good.
I'll tell you how much of a disaster Pepsi Clear was. The opening bid for my Pepsi Clear that I have on eBay, $3. And that was from my old man who's living with me and lazy and doesn't want to go buy some drinks.
Do you know that every single employee at CSPI could not hold a shift at McDonald's? These people that work at these organizations never work a day in their life.
Yeah. They can talk a lot of smack about it, though.
Yeah, but they don't understand what it's like to actually feed people. Feed people. That's hard to do, especially drunk people. No. Drunk, fat people like me on Times Square.
Who like food coloring.
Yeah, who like food coloring, who like climb over the counter if they gave me the wrong nuggets.
Now, you said you liked Pepsi. What was it?
Crystal Pepsi was great.
You liked it?
Probably because I was young and it was just messing with my mind. I was like, how does it taste?
This is a magical drink.
I feel so hyperactive.
Wait, did I say Pepsi Clear instead of Crystal Pepsi?
I think you did.
I made it sound Scientological.
I knew what you meant.
Clear.
Someone at Pepsi's watching this right now. They're like, brilliant. We're bringing it back.
Yeah. The problem was the crystal. It was too new agey.
You can call it that.
All right, coming up, George Clooney is dying. His Easter eggs early. And good for him. I'm getting a head start. But first, why is the world of porn so forlorn? P.S. My favorite Scandinavian name? Bjorn. Is Jones to blame for bringing the flame? So a couple of weeks ago, idiot pastor Terry Jones burned a Koran. Because, you know, he's an idiot. But no one really cared until 4 days later when idiot Afghan President Hamid Karzai released a statement saying Jones's act was a crime against the entire Muslim community, calling for the U.S. and UN to, quote, bring justice to perpetrators of this crime, end quote. This led to protests in Afghanistan in which at least 20 people were murdered, including UN staffers. This is very ugly. Now, while President Obama put the blame where it should belong, i.e. the violent, disgusting mob, others think Jones himself is at fault for the deaths. Time Magazine's Joe Klein says, quote, Jones's act was murderous as any suicide bombers. And here's Time Magazine's world editor Bobby Gosh explaining why burning a Quran is much worse than burning a Bible.
If you're a believer, if you're Muslim, the Quran is directly the word of God, not written by man. It's transcribed. It's directly the word of God. That makes it sacred in a way that it's hard to understand if you're not Muslim. So the act of burning a Quran is much more, potentially much more inflammatory than if you were to burn a Bible.
Oh, now I'm glad I know. And then there's Senator Lindsey Graham, who seems to think the government needs to act, possibly by limiting free speech.
You know, I wish we could find some way to hold people accountable. Free speech is a great idea, but we're in a war. During World War II, you had limits on what you could say if it would inspire the enemy.
Look at her, look at you.
And now, as a palate cleanser, let's see what 2 bear cubs and a tiger cub are getting up to. I so don't approve of that. I mean, come on. Terry, all right, back to this horrible event. Terry Jones, as we know, is a self-promoting jackass, and every time we talk about him, he grows a little like a fungi. But is he to blame for the horrible crimes in Afghanistan?
That guy's irrelevant, and whatever it is, too. And as an American Special Forces guy who's been fighting over there and will be going again, listen, I've had it. No. We were talking before. The Muslims are like that dude that you all know who every weekend is going to get in a fight no matter what. One weekend it's because you bumped into him. Next weekend it's because you spilled his beer. Then you were talking to his ugly or maybe hot and stupid girlfriend. No matter what it is, this guy is going to take a swing at you. And you know what? The more you sit there in the bar and try to placate him, he's gonna hit you. Enough. Man up.
Interesting metaphor from a man who's been there.
Greg was manning up just last Saturday.
You know what it is? You know what? It's the beard. It made me all piratey.
Dan, do we need to limit this kind of speech because we're at war, as Graham said?
No, I don't really think we're always going to have idiots spouting off at the mouth. And Jones is just one of those guys. Like, to use Terry's analogy, like if these guys want to fight, he's the guy in the car that's driving away. It's like, come on, you can't get me.
That's true.
He even sounds like that.
Yeah. No, it's true. He's the guy picking the fight with the. You don't pick a fight with an unruly mob. Jill, do we need a resolution or a proclamation?
Yeah, well, that's what I find interesting is that Karzai is asking for Congress to speak out. And I think, doesn't having the President of the United States say that he's on your side, is that not good enough? And when did it stop being good enough? Now Congress has to make a resolution. You know, next will be the Supreme Court. Next, you know, we'll need the American Idol winner, Lee DeWise, to speak up because he's more powerful. Really, he's gotten more votes than the President. Yeah. So, and I don't understand, why is it not good enough? And why does he think he can get Congress to do something? We have a lot of things we've been trying to get him to do here in America.
I had a $5 bet with Greg Gutfeld that you would not be able to bring an American Idol reference into the Quran burning. And I believe I've lost that.
But I had to Google who the current idol is. Anyway, I forgot.
I want to wrap this up. You know, I can see where people want to blame Jones because he's such a reprehensible person. But Karzai's an idiot. The people in the crowd knew they were killing innocent people.
Of course.
Jones, as idiotic he is, didn't kill anybody.
Well, and also, the Los Angeles Times said this morning that new evidence is suggesting that they were initially peaceful rallies. The Taliban infiltrated in disguise, no less, actually shaved beards and stuff, and then escalated into a thing where people were dying. But with Jones, my favorite quote was when he goes, you know, hopefully the Muslim people will look at this as an awakening. Yes, watching us burn their Bible is going to make them throw down their guns and sing an Arabic version of Give Peace a Chance. I don't think it's going to work that way.
But here's the thing, you know, I got to move on. But you know, what you're seeing now in Egypt is the Muslim Brotherhood is wants to start a modesty police after all this has happened. That is not a good sign. So the way I look at it is, you cannot conceive of any way not to offend. There is no way you cannot offend.
It's impossible.
It is a mindset that is, as Christopher Hitchens said, is a neurotic need to take offense. Yeah. It is there, and he also calls it a self-righteous frenzy, married to this neurotic need. It's there. I mean, you don't need to burn the Quran, but it's there, and I don't know what you can do other than pray for them over periods of centuries to come join the party.
Yeah, that's actually the way to put it. There's nothing we can do with these guys.
Yeah.
Just get ready to fight them.
All right.
What does placating mean again?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like play date, which I like.
You do.
I love play dates.
So do you have a comment on the show? Email us. It's red@foxnews.com. Call me. Leave a voicemail on my direct line, 212-462-5050. For the personal calls, leave your phone number. I don't know why I said that. Coming up, the halftime report from TV's Andy Levy.
Tonight's halftime report is sponsored by Klepto Kitty. After hidden cameras caught this cat burglar stealing from a neighbor's yard, he was finally put behind bars where he belongs. Thanks, Klepto Kitty.